Emotion is not a lower energy. It is the raw signal of existence. Our way of dealing with emotion is, increasingly resembling the way we handle a problem that needs to be fixed. Anxiety must be relieved, anger must be managed, sadness needs to be converted into positive meaning. Rationality has become almost the only socially accepted mental posture. A person who is emotionally stable, restrained in reaction, and clear in expression is more likely to be seen as mature, reliable, and in a good state. But this is a simplified judgment system. Emotion has never been the opposite of reason, nor a failure of logic. It is a raw, yet complex signal of being, a real-time response to the world as we encounter it. What it expresses is not surface-level logic, but the tension between deeper structures, the misalignment between you and the environment, the mismatch between your inner experience and outer reality, the friction between you and what cannot be said. We are not trained to deal with this kind of ambiguity. Systems dislike instability. They prefer emotions that can be named, categorized, and regulated. As a result, anger is expected to become rational protest, sadness must turn into a growth narrative, and even boredom is supposed to be reframed as the prelude to inspiration. Rarely are we simply allowed to feel. What truly unsettles about emotion is not that it's excessive, but that it is non-cooperative. It is not always meaningful, not always integrable into our personal narratives. It arrives abruptly, stays inappropriately, and clings irrationally. It interrupts the logic systems we are running. It makes us inefficient, unclear, and inarticulate. But precisely because of this, emotion is the first feedback signal in your relationship with structure. It was already there before language appeared. Before you can define or explain what's wrong, it tells you something is off. It is not lower energy. It is feedback from existence before language arrives. If we are always rushing to make emotion reasonable, we lose the ability to truly listen to what it's trying to say. Sometimes we find ourselves wondering, why am I like this? But this question doesn't always need to be answered right away. And, how should I adjust myself? Can sometimes be left unanswered, too. Sometimes the meaning of emotion doesn't lie in where it leads, but in whether it is allowed to fully exist for a while. In that span of time, you don't need to translate it into psychological terms or turn it into content, growth, or progress. You just need to be with it and see what more truthful things slowly surface. We don't suffer because we are too emotional. We suffer because we've lost the capacity to feel emotion, because we've been trying to handle it too quickly. Maturity is not the suppression of emotion, but the ability to coexist with it calmly and spaciously. Like wind passing through a tree, you don't need to explain the meaning of the wind. You just let the leaves move and then slowly settle again.